Breaking tonight, live scenes right now in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. This is the latest in the fight to remove Confederate statues from towns and cities across the country. We have heard that on campus there may be more protests there this evening, so we're watching that at UNC, and we will be bringing that to you as we see what unfolds throughout the hour. So those scenes follow this from the Charlottesville City Council meeting last night, which was an intensely heated environment. Watch what happened in there.
Statues are coming down overnight in Texas. Lexington. We just had a murder and a Nazi rally in our town.
So the results of all that, the city's Confederate statues will be removed, but Victor Davis Hanson is warning that it could set a dangerous precedent. Here's what he wrote. When we wipe away history at a whim, why in 2017 and not, say, in 2015 or 28? We better make sure that our targets are uniquely and melodramatically evil rather than tragically misguided. Trace Gallagher, live in our West Coast newsroom with how this has spread coast to coast, sometimes in the dead of night. Hi, Trace.
Hi, Martha. You know, the debate over whether Confederate symbols represent hate or heritage is raging in a number of states. In Bradenton, Florida, the county commission ordered a Confederate statue to be boarded up, and that prompted dueling rallies where flags were burned, insults hurled, and even a few protesters arrested. Watch this. One side said the statue had been co-opted by white supremacists and needed to be removed. The opposing side argued the statue simply honors those who fought for their beliefs. Outside the Howard County Courthouse in Elliott City, Maryland, a Confederate memorial was taken down in response to the violence in Charlottesville. For the time being, the statue is being donated to a local museum and might be added to the County Historical Society's Civil War collection. In Columbus, Ohio, at the Camp Chase Confederate Cemetery, which early in the Civil War served as a prisoner of war camp, a Confederate statue was vandalized. The bronze figure of a Confederate soldier had the head torn off when vandals tried to topple the statue. In Baltimore, a 225-year-old monument commemorating Christopher Columbus was vandalized. A video posted online, which we cannot show you, has the statue being destroyed and a narrator who says that Christopher Columbus initiated a centuries-old wave of terrorism, genocide, rape, and slavery. In the nation's capital, the Jefferson Memorial appears to be safe for now, though it will get an update to address the, quote, complexity of America's third president, including his history as a slave owner. And finally, in Houston, a man was arrested and accused of trying to blow up the Dick Dowling Confederate Monument. Dowling was hailed as a Confederate war hero in Houston, serving in the Jefferson Davis Guards. Martha.
Trace, thank you very much. So here with more, Dana Loesch, host of Dana on the Blaze TV, and John O. Caldwell, a Republican political analyst. Welcome to both of you tonight. I just want to put up a quick poll here. ABC Washington Post, do you approve or disapprove of Trump's Charlottesville response? 56% say that they disapprove, 28% approve, 16 had no opinion. And here is Vice President Pence on this earlier. Watch this.
Seeing people destroy public property in the name of any cause, it's just simply unacceptable.
John, do you agree?
I absolutely agree with our vice president there. I think he was a much needed and welcome voice to this conversation as a leader who understands the sensitivity of race in this country. This has become a very divisive issue on all sides. I have a friend of mine, Connor, a 28-year-old white male who's a very vocal Trump supporter, who came to me recently and said, look, just because I support Donald Trump doesn't make me to be a racist. And I know the left has taken it in that direction. I know that the media has taken it in that direction. I know that just because you want to see these statues up doesn't make you to be someone who supports slavery. So we have to acknowledge that. But in addition to that, I wonder, history, yes, it's history, and I believe it should be in a museum. Why would we give out participation trophies to somebody who lost a war? I mean, isn't that what they say snowflakes do? I just don't understand that piece. But I really do agree with what Vice President Pence said, which was allow the local government to rule on that. And I believe that's the right answer for this situation.
I mean, you look at these statues and they present the history of the deepest battle in this country, our deepest eternal battle in this country. And we know who won and we know why they won. And this marks that process, that evolution that our country went through. Dana, your reaction?
No, I think that you touched upon something right there, Martha. It does show this process that our country went through, because ours is a shared history, a very tragic time and very amazing time as well. If community members collectively decide that they want to do something about these monuments, they want to take them down, they have every right to do that as members of that community. I mean, that's what freedom's all about. They can choose to erect them and they can choose to take them down as well. But this idea that we're just going to go out and start busting up public property, I think that does set a very dangerous precedent. And I think the bigger question is, too, at what point do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? Do we draw it at the Washington Memorial? Do we draw it at Lincoln's Memorial? I mean, where do we draw it? Do we draw it on the men whose images are on our currency? Because if people want to get rid of that, they can actually go to my website at danaradio.com and send them to the address there. Martha, if that's what
you'll accept their money. That's so nice of you. Jono, to pick up on Dana's question, where does it end?
At this point, it really doesn't. I think that in order for us to really have this conversation, it's necessary for us to begin to listen to one another.
But I'm saying, with George Washington, with Thomas Jefferson, should they stay? Should the memorials to both of them stay?
I think the memorials you're talking about in mountains, obviously Mount Rushmore and other places, I think those should stay. There's no way to use public costs to try to take those things down. When it comes to statues that are, in my view, celebrated in these local communities, and I view that as being what it is, and is used, public funds are used to maintain those. I think that's another question for the public. Local government should be involved in that scenario. I don't think that people should be destroying public property. It isn't a condign move, and folks that do that, they should be arrested because it's destruction of property. Yeah. We can't take things into our own hands, and we must obey the law and do things legally here in this country.
Dana, quick last thought, and then we got to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen to that. Again, I mean, we have some bad times in our history and good times, and I think that we can't refuse to acknowledge history, because those who refuse to acknowledge it, they're doomed to repeat it, Martha. And I think that there's a better way to go about this than public destruction, for sure.
Thanks, you guys. Great to have you both here tonight. Thank you very much. So.